Alright, horror fans, we need to talk. Because the internet has collectively decided that Stu Macher, a man who had a giant 90s television set dropped on his face, is totally fine walking around, not a care in the world. He's just been, chilling for 30 years and is definitely coming back in Scream 7. Yeah, okay. Today we're breaking down why Stu returning makes absolutely no sense. Narratively, canonically, logically, physically, spiritually, emotionally, you name it. Let's get into it. Look, the man had a TV dropped in his skull. Let's start with the obvious. Stu Macher is not just dead, he's comically dead. This wasn't a little bonk on the head with a lamp. No, Sidney Prescott yeeted a whole Zenith CRT television onto his face. These things weigh like 100 tons. They were made of glass, steel, and tiers of Blockbuster employees. And somehow the theory is, nah bro, he's fine, he walked that shit off. Even if Stu survived, he wouldn't be out in the real world just hanging around. He'd be in a maximum security psychiatric facility, supervised 24/7 playing Connect 4 with a social worker. So no, he's not out here plotting revenge at age 50. Like, seriously, 30 years? What took him so long to get his revenge? And what revenge is there to get? Stu didn't even have a reason the first time. Let's be honest. Stu had zero personal motive in Scream 1. Billy had mommy issues. Stu had, peer pressure? He thought it was fun? Maybe he had a crush? A desire to look cool in front of his psychopath friend? I mean, now imagine this man holding a grudge for 30 years. Kinda silly, isn't it? For what? A party that went wrong? Billy making him do cardio while wearing a Ghostface costume? Come on. I mean, he barely even knew Sidney that well. They had no real personal connection outside of just being friends in the same grade, right? They were in the same friend group, but what did she really do to him? Nothing. She didn't harm his family. She didn't harm anyone connected to him, really. I think he was fully aware he was the aggressor in that situation. So why he would come back after 30 years to harm Sidney truly eludes me. Also, let's keep in mind here, Stu wasn't the mastermind. He was the sidekick. Let's look at the basics here, okay? Billy Loomis planned everything. Obviously, Roman Bridger was, the secret mastermind that got revealed later, but Billy came up with the motive. Billy framed Cotton. Billy set up the alibi. Stu was just there, right? Stu coming back as the mastermind of Scream 7 makes about as much sense as making Shaggy the leader of the Mystery Machine Gang. Oh wait, Stu is chaotic energy. He's not a chess player. He's not a planner. He's the guy you give a helmet to, so when he bumps into things, he doesn't hurt his head. Then there's the age problem. It's Ghostface, but with lower back pain. Sounds intimidating, right? I mean, on top of all the scars and shit he would have on his face, Ghostface is usually young, fast, clumsy, and unhinged. That's the formula. But Stu in 2025, my guy is like 50 plus. He's ready for an AARP membership, okay? You're telling me this man is diving over furniture, chasing teens, stabbing people, sprinting through houses like he didn't pop his knee going down the stairs last week? No. The only thing Stu is chasing at this age is fiber supplements. Here's another very important thing that a lot of people are forgetting. Kevin Williamson literally said he's dead. Yes, 3 years ago, there was an interview where Kevin Williamson himself said that Stu is dead. And he thinks people are just kind of running with this rumor of Stu being alive because he was in the background of Scream 2, right? So he's not even like thinking along the lines of bringing Stu back and he was in the back. That's the furthest place from his mind. So why everyone thinks Stu was coming back is just truly wishful thinking. Yes, there was an old draft of Scream 3 that considered bringing Stu back. Keyword considered. And then a whole thing happened with the shooting and all that stuff. But yes, years ago, 2022, Kevin Williamson himself confirmed multiple times that in the actual canon, Stu Macher is dead, okay? Deleted scripts aren't canon. Fan theories aren't canon. Matthew Lillard joking on Twitter isn't canon. If we brought back every maybe they survived character, Scream would be the MCU by now. And it would start to look like a cartoon. There's also the Sidney problem, okay? Bringing Stu back actually ruins her arc. Here's the thing. The reason Stu returning would actually hurt the franchise is Sidney Prescott built a life. She healed. She grew. She became a mother, a wife, a whole human being outside of Woodsboro. If Stu was alive this entire time, that means Sidney spent 30 years unaware that the guy who murdered her friends was still out there? It makes her look oblivious. It undermines her strength. It undermines her thoroughness. It rewrites her entire arc as a survivor. And Scream 7 should be about giving Sidney closure, not dragging her backwards. Obviously, we know that we're returning for some drama from Woodsboro from back in the 90s, but I don't think it's with Stu Macher. Now let's talk about another piece of this conspiracy puzzle that makes even less sense. Stu's sister, Leslie Macher, coming back. Guys, I'm sorry, but Leslie Macher showing up 30 years later to avenge her brother who canonically killed people at a high school party? No. She had zero motive then, and even less motive now. What's she gonna say? Sidney, you killed my homicidal brother who stabbed multiple people to death. How dare you? It's the weakest revenge plot in horror history. And then there's the biggest problem. Logistics. Like, actual real-world logistics, right? Which we know Kevin Williamson is a big fan of realism. So, to believe Stu survived, you also have to believe someone saved him from bleeding out in 1996, smuggled him into a hospital without police noticing, and then snuck him into a mental institution, where he stayed for decades, without a single person ever finding out. And who supposedly saved him? His parents? Please. The police were literally in the house. The ambulance was right outside. They're not dragging their son's half-crushed body past Dewey like, don't mind us. We're just gonna bring our psychotic son to a mental hospital completely unnoticed. Then what? They break him out of a psychiatric facility? Did they Mission Impossible his ass out of there? No, that's not how any of this works. And the Roman problem. Oh boy. To believe Stu's alive, you also have to believe he's been secretly helping Roman this whole time, orchestrating Maureen's murder, killing off Hollywood actors, chasing Sidney, and supposedly killing Dewey in Scream 5, and attacking Gale in New York in Scream 6, which a lot of people believe these things. They think this is Stu Macher coming back from the dead to kill people, all while being locked up in a mental asylum for 3 decades. Oh yeah. Stu's just casually multiverse traveling between locations, helping Ghostfaces across the country while playing Uno on Tuesdays with his social worker. And Roman Bridger, Mr. I Work Alone, would risk blowing his entire operation that plays out just 2 movies ahead just to break Stu out of a facility? Not a chance! Roman wouldn't put his ass on the line for anyone. He barely wanted Mickey. This is a conspiracy, not a storyline. To believe Stu survived and stayed undetected and helped Roman and was somehow involved in post-2010 Ghostface attacks, you basically have to write him into every movie at once. From prison! It doesn't fit canon, it doesn't fit logic, it's a YouTube fan theory, not an actual script. Fun to think about, but in reality, not gonna happen. Here's the only way we're gonna get Stu coming back, and it's not as Ghostface. If you want to reference him, sure. You got, your news clips. You got a flashback. You got just photos and stuff. Hallucinations. You got like a cameo, like little voice note here or there, right? And obviously, we have the AI set up that we already know is coming. So we're going to have some AI, videos and voice notes and stuff. That works. That stuff's all fine. But physically returning as Ghostface? No. I'm sorry, but no. It makes no sense and breaks the franchise's entire internal logic. Look, Matthew Lillard is amazing. He's a great horror actor, but Stu Macher's story is done. He was iconic, he was chaotic, he was insane, and he was written to be a one-time movie villain. So yes, those are the reasons why Stu returning in Scream 7 just doesn't add up, logically, narratively, or thematically. But hey, this is the internet. If you disagree, yell at me in the comments. I'll be reading with popcorn. Thanks for watching, horror fans. Hit like if you enjoyed this breakdown. Subscribe if you want more Scream Theory videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay scared.